I carried TNA No Surrender 2007 with a broken freaking neck. Yes, guys, we are here. TNA No Surrender 2007 pay-per-view name since you're around the 11th/12th of July. No one will get that. But anyway, we have this pay-per-view, and Kurt Angle is defending 3 titles in one night. Him and Sting are taking on the team of Pac-Man. Was that their team name? I'll have to look into it. Yeah, it was Team Pac-Man actually. Right. Well, I'm defending his X Division Championship against Jay Lethal, and then in the main event, we had Kurt Angle against The Biz. He came in with 3 belts. How many belts will he have? Walking out. But you know what? I watched this on YouTube. You could watch it on the Global Wrestling Network. You could watch it on Impact Plus. Stevie didn't do that. But we kicked off the show with Mike Tenay and Dom West. A very underrated commentary team, if we're being honest. Basically hypes up that there's going to be a major announcement tonight and all that good stuff. But then with Team Pac-Man defeating Kurt Angle and Sting, but it wasn't that straightforward. We've got Karen Angle out there. I never liked Karen Angle, and the fact that she jobbed out Kurt for Jeff Jarrett just sums up how Karen Angle sucks. That's the bottom line. But yeah, she gets involved. Sting's on the apron. She kind of like falls off, but from Angle's position, it kind of looks like Sting slapped her. I wish Sting fucking locked her in the Scorpion leg lock, man. Fucking killed her, but he didn't. Angle furious enters the ring, hits Sting with an Angle slam, or the Olympic slam in TNA, whatever you want to call it. And then Pac-Man, Adam Jones, comes in. 1, 2, 3. Him and R-Truth, Ron Killings are the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. Not the best start for Kurt Angle, if we're being perfectly honest, to kick off this night, but it is what it is. Then we have James Stormy of this vignette of him going around the local bars trying to find Rhino. He can't find Rhino. He's like, have you seen this stinking guy with greasy hair? No. But yeah, then Rhino answers his open challenge essentially and says, right, I'll take you on at No Surrender. Actually, one of the better matches of the night here between James Storm and Rhino. Let's be honest, there wasn't many bad matches, if we're being perfectly honest. No, there wasn't even a bad match. It was a good show. Rhino defeats James Storm here. Gore, gore, gore. Oh yes, there will be blood. Decent enough match. Rhino was very underrated. TNA, WWE, ECW, he was very underrated, Rhino. Next up, we have Christian Cage cutting a promo backstage with AJ Styles and Tomko. This is weird because, like, I never actually realised there was a point in TNA where, like, Christian was, like, leading a faction with Styles and Tomko in it. I'm aware he would have been pally-pally with Tomko because that's what they had in WWE, to be honest, but yeah, weird, and, like, Styles is, like, trying to stick up to Christian, but then Tomko's like, come on, man, let's get out of here. Then we have Robert Roode with Miss Brooks taking on Kaz. Miss Brooks kind of is rooting for Kaz after months of being treated unfair by Robert Roode, but Robert Roode ends up defeating Kaz. Some good spots in this. You had Robert Roode coming at his entrance, and Kaz jumped over the top rope Kazarian. A lot of TNA originals on display here, if we're being honest, but it's a decent enough match. Robert Roode wins. But again, another match with like nothing on the line. But next up, we had something on the line. X Division Championship match. Jay Lethal, Black Machismo, taking on Kurt Angle, the X Division champion. And guess what, guys? Jay Lethal defeats Kurt Angle for the X Division Championship. Not many people saw it coming, and that would include me. Well, to be honest, I think it makes for a better storyline if he loses both belts going into the main event. It makes the main event feel bigger, like fuck, he has to win. But this was a good match, and you know what? Like, Angle didn't get screwed. It was just like a roll-up, you know, and definitely one of the better Jay Lethal matches you'll see, and it was a really good X Division match. I mean, normally the X Division does have good matches, but I'd say of the X Division matches I've seen, it's probably top 5. Just a really nice blend of styles between these two. Next up with a backstage segment with Black Rain. Of course, this is Goldust. It goes on to talk a lot about Dustin Rhodes and all this, and you know, he came in, he was having matches against DDP, and now he's Black Rain. And at this point, Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, whatever you want to call him, Black Rain, he is very out of shape. But I do like the whole you know, like gimmick here. I mean, it's a weird gimmick. I mean, he has a pet rat. Anyone who has a pet rat would be going into the weird category. That's for sure, if we're being perfectly honest. But Chris Harris here, it is the only non-disqualification match of the night. Like any match with any sort of stipulation, not stipulation, of course, there's title matches, but you know, match variation. Damn it. Some really good spots. I mean, they're bleeding. There's a spot where like he got the rat and put it all over Chris Harris, but you notice he like held on to the rat because he let go of the rat. The rat probably took off into the crowd, and that's like health and safety, you know, written over in here, right here in the impact zone. But really good match. There was blood. Chris Harris wins, but I think ever since like America's Most Wanted disbands, I mean, it's just like what has Chris Harris got on the table? That answer would be fuck all. Next up, we have a 10-man tag team match. Well, 20-man tag team match. Normal contendership for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. We have AJ Styles and Tomko defeating, there's a long list of teams, so let's get stuck into this. The Voodoo Kin Mafia, LAX, Team 3D, Motor City Machine Guns, Triple X, Sonjay Dutt and P.T. Williams, Serotin, Raven, Havoc. That's the team with Eric Young and Shark Boy, the Rock and Raven faction. Which is Lance Hoyt and Jimmy Rave. Of course, Jimmy Rave is dead. Who was it they mentioned was in this match and he hasn't appeared? I think it was actually Jimmy Rave. He hadn't appeared in TNA in like 3 years. But yeah, AJ Styles and Tomko won. Not really surprised. I mean, we had like Team 3D in here who kind of just got jobbed out. Tomko came in and battered everyone. But AJ Styles and Tomko, not going to complain too much about those two winning. We then have Christian Cage. Actually mentions like he's been in the company 2 years at this point and he's not took a pinfall loss or submission. So in terms of matches I can recall he's lost, like I'll mention one when we get to the main event. He's lost a King of the Mountain match, you know. But here he takes on Samoa Joe. This was like a weird build up with like Samoa Joe's family out singing, and when Samoa Joe made his entrance, he like barged past him, and it just seemed really awkward because he like near barged one of the kids out the way. But decent match here, you know. I'll go on to talk about Christian a bit more later, but TNA really did make Christian feel important, you know, and they're not the only guy that made him feel important here on this show. But match ends in a DQ. Joe just keeps on locking him in a Kamina clutch, and he just doesn't let go, and then the ref's even grabbing Joe's hair. He hits the referee, picks him up, bang, DQ, Christian wins. So yeah, protects both of them, I guess. Then in our main event, we had Kurt Angle taking on Abyss for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This match clocked in at 19.5 minutes. And let's just say, Kurt Angle, like, you wouldn't have thought TNA would have been able to do such a good job with him as they did in I mean, I still obviously prefer WWE run, but if anything, he's a bigger star in TNA. That may sound controversial, but he's just booked so well. I mean, like, he held the 3 belts. He looks like an absolute fucking machine in TNA. Like, definitely towards the end of his WWE run, he kind of did. I know he joined ECW, but before that he was champ. But he kind of become maybe stale. Maybe that's the wrong word. You know, complacent maybe. But in TNA, man, Kurt Angle reinvented himself. And I don't think there's enough people that actually like praise TNA for their run there. They kind of just bury the company because it's like practically dead now. But you know, like Kurt Angle and especially Christian's careers without TNA look drastically different, and that's a lot of people, man. A lot of people. Like Scott Steiner. I mean, I'll bet yeah, he never became world champion in TNA, but fuck me, man. The guy was brilliant in TNA. The Dudleys were also brilliant in TNA. A lot of the people they were already made their name and their worth and all that, but they enhanced their careers a lot in TNA. So TNA, thank you TNA. Kurt Angle though defeats Abyss. Abyss doesn't tap. It's via submission here. He just gives up, and yeah, TNA goes off there with Kurt Angle holding on to one of his titles, which is the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm glad for Kurt Angle. But you know what? It was a good show. I mean, it wasn't spectacular at any point, but every match was good. There was good segments. But there was nothing that fucking made you go, oh, not draw, you know, nothing along those signs of that. But anyway, guys, I'll give this show a 7 out of 10. But there was nothing bad, you know. There was nothing bad and there was nothing great. So to me, it's good. And to me, that's a 7.